Hi, I'm Alvina Ling.
And I'm Grace Lin.
And we're book friends
Forever!
We're childhood friends
Who grew up to be
a children's book editor.
and an author and illustrator. Yay!
Welcome to Book Friends Forever. This is the decision making and regret episode.
And check out our website, bookfriendsforever.com, and our Instagram and YouTube channel at bookfriendsforever_podcast.
I just noticed your microphone looks.
Is it working?
Yeah, it sounds good. Yeah.
Okay, good.
But when you moved it closer, it sounded better. So.
Oh, okay, because that's what I was doing. I was trying. There's a light that shows if it's on or not, and I was like, "Is it on?" So, okay, good.
Well, it sounds great.
Okay, good.
Anyway, how have you been?
Okay, how have I been? The reason why I'm all wet is because I just finished taking a shower because Hazel has agreed to run the 5K hot chocolate run with me, and because she's running it, our friends, Anna's kids, Hugo and Tilly, are going to run it. I also coerced another one of Hazel's friends that is in our pod, Holland, will be running it, and my good friend Kate Milford, who comes to run the 5K with me as well, in New York. I guess she was watching the marathon with her kids today in New York City and mentioned that Hazel was running and did the kids want to run too? And the kids said, okay, they'll run. So it's like this big contingent of kids that are going to run with us. But the thing is that today I took Hazel for the first time on a 2-mile run, and she walked most of it. She was just she actually is quite a fast runner. I couldn't keep up with her, but she has no sense of
she can't pace herself.
Yeah, can't pace herself at all. So she ran for a quarter of a mile and then was like, okay, we have to the rest of it we had to walk. So Alex said that he would sign up too, and then he could walk with the kids, which I think it's going to be more like that. Even though I scheduled 2 other practice sessions with the other kids, I feel like they're all not gonna understand the whole
how to run really slowly.
Yes.
Because
when I was running really slow, she's like, "You're so slow. I might as well just walk." And I was like, "Well, you could just walk," which I think is what they might do. So
yeah, I mean, you could also maybe they do a run for a minute, walk for a minute, or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Alex said that he would walk with them maybe. So, and I think that would be really fun. It'll be like a whole family affair. And then if that's the case, maybe I won't stay with them, and then Kate and I could actually run. But if I don't mind walking with them either. I think it's more fun that it's a family thing than
Wait, so is this the turkey trot or which one?
This is the hot chocolate run in December.
Okay, so that's exciting.
Yeah,
Yay.
this is fun. This is the first time I'm making it like a family affair. I always feel a little sad the past years because it's always early in the morning and Alex and Hazel don't want to get up. And so I'll run it and I'll finish and no one's there. And I'll be like, So I'm like, this time everyone's going to do it with me. So
Yay.
It's kind of fun. And then.
Well, your hair is also wet because we're recording on Sunday morning at 11 a.m.
Yes. Because I'm actually leaving on Tuesday to go to Virginia and Texas because I'll be speaking at the Virginia Association for School Librarians. I think that's what it is, and which is really awesome. And I will also be at the Texas Book Fest. But I'm gone all week, and I also didn't realize how long the travel is. It's like a whole day of travel because of the way
you have to get there.
You have to change your flights and all that stuff. So I won't be here all week, which is kind of sad. But that's why we're recording now. And let's see. The other interesting thing that I wanted to say that I've been working on is I've been finally designing those dish towels, and I actually finally sent it in, and I'm getting a sample dish towel made. So I'm going into the dish towel business.
I mean, I think that's a great idea because everyone can always use more dish towels.
What I think, I was thinking about all the other things like enamel pins and all those things, which are great too, which maybe I will do someday. But I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna start with something I think will be useful as well as beautiful, and dish towels is what decided to start with. Though I think I will also do washi tape because I saw a place
Mm,
that does washi tape. That's not as useful, but I just think that would be so neat.
yeah.
That's just for myself.
I like
So,
washi tape.
but
I
that'll
don't
be
know what to
my
use it for,
yes.
but
In 2026 is going to be the my New Year's resolution will be to begin
mm,
my side hustle business.
that's
So,
exciting that you're already thinking about your New Year's resolutions for 2026.
well, I feel like I want to open it in 2026. I feel like now I have to do all these things. So,
Yeah, that's true.
anyway,
That's
how
good.
have you been?
Well, yeah, I feel like we it hasn't been that long since we last recorded. So what have I been doing then since then? Well, the marathon is today. I am not running it and I'm not watching it. It's funny that our niece Quinn actually just called right before I jumped on the call and asked if I was running the marathon today. And I said, nope. But I am. I guess I should announce this if I haven't already. I am planning to run next year. I think I did mention that because next year is 2026. I last ran it in 2016, and I first ran it in 2006. So I feel like I have to keep the 10-year anniversary running going. So
Is
if
it a
anyone,
fundraiser thing? Do
I'm
you,
gonna do it via Fred's team again. That's how I did the
okay.
first two, and I do. I like the idea of running and raising money for cancer
Yeah.
research. So I think we're gonna sign up pretty like maybe even this coming week. So my friend Tracy is gonna do it, and I think her husband Kirk as well. And we're open to if other people want to join our team. Um, Feel free.
I will
Let me
clap for you
know.
in the sidelines. But that actually, not to pigeonhole, to wedge myself in, I forgot to mention that for the 5K, that hot chocolate run, it is a fundraiser thing too. So
Oh, good.
our team is called the Pastas. So if anybody wants to donate, it's for Safe Passage, which is for survivors of domestic violence.
Oh,
So
that's wonderful.
yeah. So
But
sorry, not to,
pasta.
the
Oh,
pastas.
so that has nothing to do um with anything? You just
Well,
like pasta?
Hazel calls her friends Hazel calls her friends pastas or beans for imposters. So it's like
Okay.
the impastas
Okay.
or beans because of human beings. Like so,
Okay.
but the beans seem like they're a much more specialized group, and the pastas are kind of like the more general group.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
the pastas are her
Okay.
friend
I
group.
thought it was an acronym or something, but no.
No.
Okay. Or it was just about pasta. I mean, because I like pasta.
Yeah, well, we'll have a big pasta dinner before
Yeah, that's a good idea.
with all
Um,
we should with all the kids and everything.
yes. What else? So there are, I don't know when the things are going to be announced, but the other thing that's been occupying me is that we are working on some changes at our work that should be announced, and they might actually have been announced by the time this episode post. We'll see. But I'll talk about it when I can. And it'll be exciting and
I'm
great.
excited.
Um, and
I know, but that's the worst. You're not supposed to do that. I hate when people online say like, "I got some big news coming,"
I
and then
know.
they
I mean,
don't say
I'm only
anything.
mentioning it because I believe we are going to announce it next this coming week. So that's
Oh,
why
okay.
I'm mentioning it. That I think because this isn't going to
Wow, that's a
post
lot
for
sooner than
like
I
two
thought.
weeks.
I
Me
thought they were
too.
I thought they were going to mention it a lot later.
Me too. But I do think there are some events that I think make it need to be announced sooner rather than later. I
Okay,
don't know. Anyway, but so we'll see. So
that's
if you're
exciting.
listening to this, go and check and see if
I
there's
guess that
any
should be our
news
next
announced.
episode. The next episode will be all about the news then.
If it has been announced, yes. Um, and so this is like totally random, but I'm just going to mention it because it was last night. So last night was Game 7 of the World Series,
Uh-huh.
and it was the LA Dodgers versus the Toronto Blue Jays.
Hmm.
And, I'm not a huge baseball fan anymore, but when I was a kid, in junior high and high school, and we just had moved to LA, I was a huge Dodger fan. Like it really did. Like I tried to watch or listen to every single game. I was really obsessed. They ended up winning the World Series, I think in 88. And I had a shrine, like I had cut out all the articles about the win on, and I taped it on my wall. And that was like the whole, for those of you who remember Kirk Gibson, like, he was injured and he came in as a, pinch hitter and he
Uh-huh.
he had a he hit a home run to win the World Series. And it was so dramatic and exciting. So Steve and I have been watching here and there, and it's interesting because we were kind of rooting for the Blue Jays just because
Canada.
we like Canada more than the US right now. But as for me with sports, if I don't have a loyalty, then sometimes I'm rooting for the underdog. But I did
Uh-huh.
find as I was watching that I think like muscle memory, I just was rooting for the Dodgers and they did win. And it was an incredible game 7 that was very, very close. And so the Dodgers were down in I think it was the 8th inning. They were down by 1 run, and it was the
Mhm.
bottom of the. This is getting into the weeds, but basically, this player who, oh gosh, now I'm trying to remember his name. I wanted to remember his name. His last name, I think, was Martinez. Ramon, I think, Martinez.
Oh,
Maybe that's not really his name.
I remember Pedro Martinez was a
Right.
huge thing in the Red Sox.
Now I have to look it up because I want to get his name right. But he was like the ninth hitter in the whatever it's called, so which is usually like the worst hitter is at the bottom of the batting order.
Mhm.
And apparently he hadn't had a hit in over a month, and he he hit a home run. And what was funny is the announcers were like because they were like almost like the the Blue Jays are going to win this, and he hit a home run to tie, and they're like, no way. Like they were so in shock. And then like
Oh,
as
good for this guy.
I know. And then as they kept saying like some guy, this guy like hit a home. So I feel, I'm feel really happy for him that he did that. But so
Yeah.
they ended up
I
winning
like when
five
things like that
four.
happen to people who are like feeling maybe not a little, maybe feeling.
Yeah. Like he
That's why I
came
like it. That's why my favorite people who win like the Caldecott or the Newbery are people like Brian Lees who've been making books for a long, long time, and then or Christopher Denise, like who been making books for a long, long time, and then they get the Caldecott honor. Versus, I know like people who are awesome and they get the Caldecott right from the get-go. Like I'm very happy for them too, but there's something very satisfying about seeing people who have like been working and working in the industry for so long and then finally getting their like flowers.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. His name is Rojas.
Oh,
Is that right? I don't know. I don't know why I can't find his name easily. But anyway, but yes, it's nice when it's not it's unexpected. But it just
yeah, or
reminds me,
just somebody who just it's kind of like when Michelle Yeoh finally got something, or like Jamie Lee Curtis, like it's like just these like kind of like worn veterans of the industry who are like finally are getting their due. So,
yeah.
um, that's why I kind of hope that this year, Kate Messner wins. I hope I don't jinx it, but I kind of hope she gets something because I feel like she's somebody who's been really working hard for a long time. And I'm kind of hoping for Katia Chien, who's also been in the industry for a long time and like hasn't gotten their flowers yet. So,
Yeah.
just saying, hint, hint, committees.
We have to have, yes, we have to talk about our predictions if we have them
Yes,
maybe eventually.
yes.
I can't believe it's November already and
Yeah.
it's almost the end of the year.
I'm not
Um,
ready.
all right. I guess the other thing I'll mention is I'm going to a Nets game. Speaking of sports, this is a sport episode. Because as in previous years, so Kirk and Tracy's son Sherman does Taekwondo, and they have a performance at a Nets game, and so we've gone
Mhm.
the last 2 years, and it's kind of fun. So we're going today, and this time he's performing before the game starts, which is actually a little bit better because it's fun to go to the game, but we don't actually really want to stay for the whole
Uh-huh.
thing. Although we'll see if it's fun or not. I mean, it is going to be fun, but it also can be long. So, and it is a
Yeah.
weeknight or it's a Sunday
Yeah.
night. Okay, so our
Mm.
episode topic today is decision making and regret, and it's kind of related to making mistakes, which we have talked about before. I
Hmm.
think we had a Chop Suey episode where we talked about mistakes we've made, but I think we wanted to talk more about how we make decisions. And this
Mm.
was inspired in part by a podcast episode I listened to that was on the Heavyweight podcast feed. So, but it wasn't I think it was like a Pushkin, because that's now Heavyweight is now on the Pushkin channel
Hmm.
podcast,
Yeah.
whatever it's called.
Umbrella
So
thing.
yeah, so they were kind of cross promoting to other podcasts. So the podcast they cross promoted it was called Cautionary Tales,
Hmm.
and then Heavyweight and this other podcast called uh, Risky Business, I guess were cross promoted. Anyway, but they were talking about how um, I think regret was kind of a theme of it, which I thought was
Hmm.
interesting, but more about like how regret influences your decision making.
Yeah.
Um, and I do remember when I was younger and kind of in debt, but I remember I loved to go shopping. This is when people still went clothes shopping in person and you tried things on
Hmm.
um, and I remember having the philosophy of, well, I tend to regret if I don't buy something more
Mm.
than regretting that I did buy something.
Uh-huh.
So I would tend to buy things
Uh-huh.
more than not buy things, which honestly is not a great philosophy if you don't have a lot of,
If you're
a
trying to
lot
save
of
money, yeah.
disposable income.
Yeah.
Because back then I was in credit card debt. And
Uh-huh.
so I would tend to, lean towards buying things more than not. And I feel like it just got me worse into credit card debt and was kind of a waste, to have all that close. So, but Grace, do you have any examples of when you've used regret as, I
Well,
guess, help to make decisions?
well, actually, I thought this was kind of poignant because right now, I've decided to go to China, right? But I
Mm-hmm.
am like finding myself like I keep kind of chickening out, like saying, "Oh, maybe I should change it," and the thing that keeps pushing me to like, no, no, do it, like to that pushes me to keep going forward is I guess it is regret. I'm scared that I will regret not going. Like I feel like I'll regret giving into the fear. Like I'll
Mm.
regret not choosing the bigger life,
Yeah.
and so I think that's what has been, even though like it's really interesting how this trip has like suddenly become this like anxiety thing for me. I don't know. And I don't like that it's become that because it's supposed to be like this fun thing, but now
Mm-hmm.
it's become almost like this thing of like almost like a test to see if I can like work through fear. And I don't really enjoy that, but at the same time, I feel like I have to do it.
That's interesting because I mean, I remember the last time we went to China, the only time we went to China together.
Yeah.
I remember there was one day where some of us wanted to go on an outing, and then you decided you didn't want to go. And I think I was trying to use regret as a way to get you to go, and you're like, "No, I don't need to go." And it wasn't like, it wasn't like going to the Great Wall. It was, I think,
Yeah.
going to a shopping district. Speaking of shopping, so it wasn't like you would like
Uh,
totally miss out. But I thought you might like really miss out
uh,
on like buying some fun bags or
uh,
souvenirs and stuff. But I remember just feeling like, okay, well, you didn't it seemed like you didn't have that FOMO, which is something that we talk
yeah.
about a lot, that you do tend to have.
I don't usually have FOMO for things like that. Like it's
Hmm.
interesting the things that I have FOMO for. Like, and there's a part of me actually deep down, there's a part of me that knows that if I decide not to go on this trip, I'll probably be okay with it.
Hmm.
There's
Yeah.
like there's a part of me that's like, it's fine. There's like 50% of me that'll be like, oh well. Like so that's uh that when we were listening to the podcast that you suggested, and there the woman who said she just doesn't try that hard. Like, well, how did she put it? Um,
I think she said she doesn't really care if she makes mistakes. Like she just makes
yes.
mistakes all the time, all the
Hmm.
time, and she's kind of careless about it. And
Yeah.
until she had to catch a baby which was a really random thing where I guess she went to some performance or gallery or something and for some reason someone was throwing a toddler at her and she's like, I
That was really
can't
weird.
I can't drop this baby.
But yeah.
Um,
But yeah, the same thing was, I guess that's kind of how I feel about most of my decisions is like, oh, well, if I make this mistake of not going, it's okay too. Like there's a part of me
yeah.
that's kind of like that.
It
Um,
sounds like you are motivated to go because you feel like the reason you don't want to go is not a good reason,
yeah, I think that's really what it
which
is.
which makes sense, I think. Um, yeah, speaking of care, like so I think I'm similar that I can't not as careless as the woman that was interviewed. Like she was participating in a ketamine a ketamine experiment
Uh-huh.
where like it was like she was being microdosed and then writing about it and she was at the clinic and they I guess they told her like twice swish it around in your mouth
And then
for
spit it out.
and then spit it out and then she swished it around and then she swallowed it and they were like what we told you to spit it out and she's like no you didn't and then she had been recording it because it was for a story and when she did listen to it back they did say it twice
Twice.
and she's like this is just like I don't listen to things and I don't and
Yeah.
luckily like they she could tell that they were a little bit panicked but then because they didn't want her to have a bad trip they were like it's fine and it was fine like I guess maybe she was a little more hungover than she would have normally
Uh-huh.
been but it is yeah so I'm not like that but I think I can be impulsive for some things like I do remember one time I was traveling to Thailand and I knew that that you're not supposed to plug in like electronics into there. Like it was a different
Oh, uh-huh.
electric current.
Uh-huh.
And I I had a Palm Pilot at the time. This is how long ago it was. And I remember but the outlets look exactly like the
Uh-huh.
outlets in the US.
Yeah.
And I didn't have at that moment I didn't have a adapter.
Adapter.
And then I thought, you know what? But I did kind of think like if this Palm Pilot dies, that's okay because it was kind of like I was
Uh-huh.
kind of
On his
over
way
it
out.
in a
Hmm.
way. Um, so I did plug it in and it immediately like sparked and died. And I thought,
Oh
okay,
man.
well that was stupid. Like I don't think I regretted it, but I think it's just an example of sometimes I can be a little
Yeah.
careless about things or
Yeah, I
impulsive.
can tend to be careless too. I was thinking about this with emails because what I tend to do is like I'll read the email and then I'll mark it unread and I'll think about it and think about what I'm going to go back and respond to it. And of course, I think about it, and then I'll respond to it. And of course, when I respond, I don't really read the email again. And then of
Mm,
course I'll respond to something that that number one was in there that needed a response, or number two that like they had mentioned, like so
yeah.
it's like so I'm careless that way too. Like and so about email, like that's why I'm really worried about not having my assistant anymore. Like I gotta be more on the
Yeah.
ball.
I liked, oh, they also talked about this thing called the endowment effect, which they is basically that people tend to value items that they own more highly
Yeah.
than what they don't. And like one example they gave is um if you're told you have a lottery ticket and this other person has a lottery ticket and you're supposed to swap lottery tickets,
Yeah.
the person thinks more about how they would feel if they had the lottery ticket that then they gave away rather
Uh-huh.
than if they got the winning lottery
Yeah,
ticket.
from somebody else. Yeah.
I think stocks are like that. Like people are more
Hmm.
reluctant to sell something and then wait, like if they own the stock already, they would rather hang on to it even if it's going down than sell it and risk that it
It goes
is
up some more. Yeah.
right.
And they didn't get the added benefit. Yeah. It is interesting, huh? Those things.
Yeah, and
Hmm.
this came up. I hung out with some friends yesterday, and I was telling them about this, and they said, "Oh, I see that because it is kind of a more economic, I guess, uh, term." And someone said, "Oh, I see that in like these marketplaces, like Facebook Marketplace, all the time, where someone say, has something that they own, and they're trying to sell it, and they're selling it for way more money
Yeah.
than you could
Then it's
actually
worth.
get
Yeah.
it." and sometimes people are giving it away for free, but they
Yeah.
think, oh, it's mine and it's valuable and
Uh-huh.
it's worth a lot.
Yeah.
Well, when we're talking about decision making, I found this article, or this, I guess it's an article, but it was kind of a summary of this professor, Cheryl Strauss Einhorn, with the Cornell's S.C. Johnson College of Business. And she talks about how there are five distinct styles of decision making. And I thought we could just list the five different styles and talk about which one we think we are. So the first is the adventurer. Maybe do you want to alternate
Yeah.
sharing? Okay, so the adventurer. So Einhorn describes the adventurer as a very decisive decision maker. She knows what she wants. The future is endlessly more interesting than the present.
Okay, the second is the detective. With a strong need for concrete evidence, the detective is a slower decision maker because she wants to find data.
And then the listener. This style of decision maker is relational, collaborative, trusting, Einhorn said. She emphasizes the importance of gathering input, and she likes to gather the wisdom and opinions of others.
And then there's the thinker, someone who values understanding the why and thinking about the different options. This style represents a thoughtful, careful decision maker.
And then finally, the visionary, a big, creative, out of the box thinker. However, this kind of decision maker could have a planning fallacy. Visionaries can dream big and are often the source of innovative ideas, but they must stay grounded to avoid unrealistic expectations.
So which one do you think you are? I was trying to figure that out for me.
Well, I guess I'll say that she says that they can change over time. They can
Hmm.
also change depending on
On the
what you're trying to make the
situation.
decision. So, like for example, you can be a visionary when you're planning a meal to eat, or you can be an adventurer when you're planning a vacation, but you might
Mm,
want to be a detective when you're buying life insurance.
that's
So
true.
um, I think though that naturally I am the listener. I tend to like to ask other people's advice. Like I think I mentioned when we are talking about leadership styles that I am
Hmm.
more of a democratic leader because I like
Hmm.
to listen and take into account what kind of the majority or what other people think. Um, I think I can be the adventurer, as mentioned, like I guess when traveling or
Hmm.
think I can tend to be a little more, I guess, again, impulsive. Um, but I'm definitely not the visionary. I don't think, sadly. Um, and I do research, but like I won't research. Like we talked about this with the Gretchen Rubin
Yeah,
tendencies.
the
Like,
questioner, like
yeah,
our good friend Anna is definitely a questioner. She's like the detective where like she will research everything and find out the best, which is why I love being friends with her because whenever I need something that she has done, I'm like, I just ask
right.
her and I don't need to do any research because I
I
know
think
she's
that's why
figured.
I'm a listener because, like, I'm like, well, one of these people I'm asking is maybe more of a detective, and I'll get the benefit. Like, so if I'm,
Yeah, like I
like,
love getting the benefit of her.
yes, okay. So, but now, do you
But
have
I think
a
I'm more
day?
the thinker.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm the thinker because I like to think and think and think about it. And then I think I can veer into the listener because after I think about it, I like hearing what other people think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but sometimes I'm a detective, but not a hard, not very like when I think about, like I said, when I think about Anna, like I'm a lazy detective. I like one or two, like I'll just like this trip to China. Like I've sent to like two different tour people to see, and I'm like maybe I'll send to one more, but like that's it. Like I'm not like it'll have to
Yeah.
be like I'm not
Which
somebody
is
who's gonna
actually,
like
they say if
go
you have
to
too
a
much choice, right? It's the
yeah.
you get frozen. So you might as I think having two or three options is a good
Yeah.
thing.
And
Um, I think I'm
yeah.
a thinker in that. So I think I listen first, and then
Uh-huh.
because I tend to make lists, so
Uh-huh.
I tend to make pros and cons lists when I'm trying to decide something. But I like to listen first and then think
I think
about.
I'm a thinker and then the listener. And I think in
Hmm.
some ways I'm a thinker adventurer because there's always like a gut thing. I
Hmm.
think there's always like a gut decision that I know and I think about it. It's almost like what do they call it? Like a self-fulfilling prophecy, or what is it like where it's, oh, confirmation bias.
Oh, right.
And I'll think and but like I'll kind of have a decision already inside. And I kind of know what I want, but I won't do it right away. I'll think and think and think, and it's almost like I'm looking for all the confirmation bias to make sure that that was the right one. And
So
then
if
I'll listen to people to make sure that they think that all the things that I think was the right one.
so have you ever had a situation where you think you know what the right decision is, and then when you talk to other people, they tell you the opposite, and then you change your mind?
Um, the one
I
that
can
came,
I can
the
think of
ones,
one now
oh yeah, for me or for you?
for you.
Oh, what? Okay, for you.
No, well, not for no, not I can think of what one for you.
Oh,
The
okay. What, like
with
what?
the most recent picture book.
Oh, the most recent picture book. Yes. So, we might as well tell
Yeah.
people. So, for the most recent picture book, the Stone Buddha, um, I did the paintings for the stone Buddha, but I felt at the time that it was missing something. So that's like the adventure thing. It was like there's something, I think it needs something, and I know I wanted to have something more. And so I thought and thought and thought about it, and I thought, okay, I'm going to add a secondary storyline. And so I did the secondary storyline, and then I sent it to you guys, and then I listened. And then, even though I felt really strongly that that was the right way, it seemed like the majority thought that that was not the right way. So I gave up.
Right. And I think we, I think, yeah, Saho and I brought it to some other people. I mean, we tried to make it work. I think, we revised it. And then I think
Yeah.
ultimately you also, I think, sent it to other people who had the same.
Yeah. And I think most people thought it didn't do, um, it didn't add much either way. Like it
Yeah.
didn't, like when I brought it to people, like I thought it added a lot, like deep down to me, but
Hmm.
they're like, they said it doesn't add that much. It didn't take, they didn't think it took away. I know, but the thing that was the decision that affected my decision was that a lot of people in your group thought it took away, which I was like, oh, I don't want to do that. So,
Right.
oh, maybe that's the whole like, the endowment.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like
I already have it. I don't want it to go lower.
interesting. Well, I think this could be interesting and helpful for people making decisions, thinking
Yeah.
about the type of decision you're making, what type of decision maker you are, how much you're bringing regret into it. Um,
Yeah. And well, and the difference of being flexible too. Like that's another podcast that we'll talk about in the future, hopefully, where they talk about the difference between intelligence and wisdom and how being flexible is really a big part of being wise.
yeah,
So maybe that's a part of it too.
great.
Fortune cookies.
All right, so now let's move on to our fortune cookie segment. And there was a bunch of publishing news recently, and so we thought we would talk about mainly three different pieces. Let me start with Baker and Taylor because that's something we had talked about. I think maybe two or three episodes
Hmm.
ago about how the wholesaler Baker and Taylor is closing. So I think at the time I did talk about how Ingram was kind of stepping up to fill in the gap. Um, and how the rumor was that Amazon might as well. So that rumor is true. Amazon is, they are introducing the launch of Amazon Business Books for libraries.
Mm.
And also, they've created a dedicated library hub, which offers libraries a way to source new upcoming titles and manage downloads in one place. And
Mhm.
they are offering discounts on selective new titles ranging from 30 to 40% off of list price. But also Barnes and Noble is joining the fray. So they also announced that they are, opening a marketplace for libraries, and they've joined Ingram. Bookazine is also in the
Mhm.
group. Amazon, Follett Content, and Mackin. So I guess the good news, first of all, it's not going to be just a monopoly. I think that was the concern that some people felt like, well, if there's only one choice, that's not good. So it seems like a lot of companies are coming up to try to fill the gap.
True, true. But I just feel like it's like Amazon. What was it? What was it? That movie a long time ago? It was like Godzilla versus um what was the other big monster?
Alien? I don't know.
Like Predator
Predator or
versus
something.
Predator
Yeah,
versus Godzilla, like we all lose, something like that. It's like,
right.
oh, Amazon versus Ingram, great.
I don't think Amazon's going to be the biggest player here though, because first of all, Ingram is much bigger
Yeah.
already, and then I
Mhm.
do think Barnes and Noble. I know with a lot of educators they do use Barnes and Noble.
Mhm.
Like I feel I don't know for sure, but when Year of the Dog jumped onto the USA Today bestseller
Uh-huh.
list a while back, I think it must have been some kind of educator
Oh, that's
um
nice. Well, I'm
purchase.
gonna root for. I think I'll root for Barnes and Noble because if they anything that makes them strong is probably going to be good to counterbalance Amazon. But saying I root for Barnes and Noble is kind of just like saying like I root for Godzilla over Predator.
Right. Yeah.
I do like Godzilla better than Predator though.
I don't know if I don't know if I have an opinion on that. Um, do you want to talk about the Dr. Seuss book that they
Sure. Okay,
discovered?
so I guess there's going to be a new Dr. Seuss book. Okay, so this is from PW, counting down to the country's semi-quincentennial Random House children's book unveiled Sing the 50 United States for June 2026, a picture book by Dr. Seuss. Apparently, editors recently discovered the rhyming celebration of the states, a mnemonic name game emceed by the Cat in the Hat among Ted Geisel's personal papers at the University of California, San Diego Geisel's library. Very interesting.
It is interesting. And the article was interesting because it really did outline how, I guess, three editors went to see if they could find some unpublished work. And then they found this manuscript and some sketches. And they said they basically are publishing the text almost untouched, like pretty
Hmm.
much even with the punctuation
Hmm.
exactly as he wrote it. It was handwritten.
Hmm.
But the piece they had to work on was the pagination because I think it was just, I
Uh-huh.
don't know
All
how
over the
they
place,
discovered
probably.
it. Yes.
I
And
mean,
of
there's
course,
50 states. So it's like, there's a
right.
lot of states
And I don't know if
to
he
cover.
just maybe wrote it as like one poem, like on one page or
Yeah.
two pages. So it's going to be illustrated by, let's see.
Yeah, I didn't see who the illustrator was going to be. Hold
They
on.
did list it. Let me find it. I meant to look at that either. Okay, so Brannon, what is his first name?
Now, is he going to it looks
Tom
like he
Brannon.
is he's pretty much copying Dr. Seuss's style.
Yes. So illustrator Tom Brannon, who I think he did the Cat in the Hat beginner book series,
Hmm.
and he replicated the classic Seuss look.
Yeah.
So he's illustrating this picture book, and one of the editors said he has such a knack for recreating Ted Geisel's unique art style. Um,
Hmm.
Because the manuscript was limited to the typed pages and book map, Brannon needed to conjure most of the action and the little cats from his imagination. But he based the cover illustration on a standalone drawing from the archive. Um, so fascinating. You know,
Yeah.
we've talked about posthumous publishing
Yeah. I
several
don't
times in
know.
the past.
Yeah. I've I'm I've got mixed feelings. I'm a little ambivalent.
Yeah.
But I guess it's good for publishing because it'll probably get some people really excited, like so. Um
Yeah. And I think the fact that the text was fully written, I think that's also a positive, like they
yeah.
didn't have to, but it wasn't, I guess, fully illustrated.
Yeah. So, but we're all about money grabs these days. But I think, but the truth is, as much as I sound judgmental about the money grab, I feel like the book industry is kind of like we're all
You need
just
to
trying to survive
get
here.
whatever you can. You got to take it.
Yeah.
Um, I know it made me think like, oh gosh, does Little Brown have any archives of,
Yeah. Who does Little Brown have?
I
I'm
think
trying to think.
that's our
Mark, oh, all I
problem.
can think is Mark Brown. He's still alive and kicking.
Yep.
Um,
I mean, yeah, there isn't really anyone
yeah.
comparable.
Well, do you have like a classic, like The Little Engine That Could or something like that?
Nope. I think, and I don't know. I think I've talked about this before, but that I think has been our main challenge as a division at Little
Mm-hmm.
Brown is that our backlist isn't as robust as, say, HarperCollins or Random House,
Yeah.
which is why we have been purchasing the backlist of other publishers
Yeah.
like the Disney list,
Hmm.
and so we know what our weaknesses are, and that's one of them. But I feel like we have a much more robust backlist in the last 25 years
Hmm. You
from
have a modern backlist, or what is it?
we do.
A modern classic backlist.
Yes. Okay, the last piece of publishing news is that the Children's Booker Prize will be launched in 2026 and will be awarded annually from 2007. We'll celebrate the best contemporary fiction for children's aged 8 to 12 years old, written in or translated into English and published into the UK and or Ireland. The aim of the prize is to engage and grow a new generation of readers by recognizing and championing the best children's fiction from writers around the world.
I think that's really nice. It's like because we talk about how we need to, um, especially because middle grade, basically, we're talking about ways to
Hmm.
get good, more middle grade books, and this is really a nice thing. They're putting their money where their mouth is. So I think that's really nice.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always great where because I think awards, you can debate whether or not awards sell more books, but it does create more awareness and
Yeah. I wish
publicity
there was
for
something
more
like that in
books.
the United States. I mean, there is like the National Book Awards, but I feel like the young people one, it does tend to skew YA, and it's hard to put YA and middle grade together regardless, like even when they do have middle grade in there. Um,
Right. And then sometimes picture books
yeah,
sneak in too. So
yeah.
it would be nice if they had three different
Yeah, it would be nice if there's something
categories.
like the Booker Prize for middle grade in the United States. I guess, yeah, the closest thing is the National Book Award, right? Is there anything else like that?
No, I think it's probably a National Book Award. I do think the Booker Prize, they did open up to, because I think originally, I could be wrong about this, but I think originally it was only UK writers, but they did
Oh,
open up to American or um, other writers that as long as they're being published in.
in the
So
UK.
similar to the Prince Award in the
Yeah.
US. So for
Hmm.
us, National Book Award and Newbery, you have to be either a US citizen or a resident of the
Hmm.
US. But the Prince, you could be from anywhere. And so that's why there are a lot of
Oh,
Australians and
oh, I
British
see.
authors who have won the Prince Award,
Hmm.
but not the Newbery.
Interesting. I'm trying to think how I feel about that. Like, do I prefer that it's just American or there's something about me. The reason why I like it being just American, but maybe it's not as necessary now, but I remember a long, 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 long time ago when you were an intern at, gosh,
Was it the
Hornbook, maybe you were. Or maybe you were, I can't remember, but you were the one who told me, or maybe you were just starting at Little Brown. And the Ugly Vegetables, or maybe you're the intern at Charlesbridge. That would make the most sense. The Ugly Vegetables had been brought to the Bologna Book Fair. And they were kind of excited to see how the reception of it. And the reception was not really great because at that time, it did not agree with what other countries believed
mm,
Chinese people were. Like they wanted like
like
China from
in
China.
China
Yeah, they
or
did not want Asian
Taiwan?
Americans. Like, and
Hmm.
that really was not did not there's no interest in that because they just could not understand this Asian in America thing.
Hmm.
Of course, that might be completely different now, but there's a part of me that likes it being American, like a prize being American, because it can address those kind of things that maybe
Hmm.
other countries don't have.
Right. That's
So
true. I mean, I don't think they're talking about change. I mean, it's called the National Book Awards. So I don't
yeah,
think they're going to change that. And I don't see Newbery or Caldecott changing their
yeah,
policies. I mean, it's hard enough
yeah.
to
There's enough
pick.
books already
Yeah.
to go through.
And there are other awards,
Yeah.
like,
But I
the
do know
Booker
every year
Prize.
there's always people always say like we should open it up to translated titles. We should open it up to other and I do understand that because they're doing so many innovative things in other countries. But that is the whole reason of like addressing addressing American culture with its many layers is why
Mhm.
I really enjoy the fact that it's like it's American,
Yes.
you know?
And the National Book Awards do have a translated
That's
book category. I mean,
yeah.
it's on the adult side, but
Yeah, and there's a
yeah,
translated book category in the ALA too.
Batchelder, right? Is that the
Yeah.
Batchelder? Yeah. So
So.
they have a chance. They have their own award. Great. So now we'll end as we always do with what we're grateful for. Grace, what are you grateful for?
I am grateful for this lovely family time that I've been able to spend with in this autumn with my family. Yesterday
Mhm.
we went to Mike's Maze, which we do every year, and we just like it's just fun. You do the corn maze, you know, you have the cider donuts and the
That's
popcorn,
great.
and
Yes,
then
very fall, very
yeah, it's just
autumnal.
yeah, it's just like all this nice family time, and now that I've talked the family into running the hot chocolate run. It's just nice. The thing is, I Hazel is definitely a teen. She's not very sherry. She doesn't really like even when we ran today, she's like didn't say too much. But it was just nice to like be together.
Yeah,
So
togetherness.
she's definitely like a closed book, but at least she's like a book that's willing to be on the shelf with me. So that's nice. And so I'm really grateful that we're all on the same shelf this fall.
That's a nice
How about you?
analogy. Um, I feel like you were grateful for we recently,
Oh
but
yeah.
I am grateful for it's kind of the grocery Asian and I think Mexican grocery online grocery store
Hmm.
WEEE exclamation point.
I know so many E's. I always mess up.
Wee. Because I periodically do orders here and there, and I hadn't done one in a while. And every time I do order, I always look at what fruit is available because I always am hoping that they have some of the tropical
Hmm.
fruits from Taiwan or other places that I've fallen in love with. So I think the last time they did have wax apples. This time they did not. But I had been really looking for cherimoyas, and I don't know if you've had a cherimoya.
What's cherimoya?
So I think it's originally from South America, maybe, but it's a green fruit. I think you can look it up.
Okay.
Sometimes it's called Buddha's head, or I don't know if that's the same. But in Taiwan, when we were in Taiwan with my parents 2 years ago,
Huh.
got into this big cherimoya kick, and
Uh-huh.
so we would like the tour bus would stop by the side of the road, and then my parents bought like a big box of cherimoya, and so we're just eating a lot of it. And I
Is it
remember
really sweet?
it's
What's
very
the flavor?
sweet. It kind of tastes like a mix of like guava
Huh.
and but soft, like ice cream
Oh
almost.
wow.
And I can't. It's unlike other fruits. Maybe a tiny bit of like lychee, except
Uh-huh.
not. The
Okay.
texture is really different, and they do have these really hard black seeds, but
Hmm.
it's kind of maybe it's like jackfruit texture.
Okay.
Anyway, actually, I when I was in Mexico in 2019 with my friend Erica, we went to a fruit stand and we thought, oh, let's just try to buy. So we actually bought without knowing it. We bought a cherimoya, but
Uh-huh.
then we didn't. It wasn't. It has to be very soft, or has to be soft to be
Hmm.
ripe. So we just left it there. We didn't. No, I didn't even try it. And then it wasn't until Taiwan that my parents. I'm like, oh,
Oh.
that's what this fruit is, and I didn't know. And it's so good. I will say it was very expensive. It was like $20
Oh
for
wow.
two. But I was like,
Uh-huh.
I'm just gonna get it because I've been wanting
Yeah.
to try it. And
Sometimes you
so
gotta splurge.
yes, so I splurged on cherimoya, and they also had pomelos, and
Mm.
which I also
I
love.
love
And
pumas too.
although I would say the pomelo is not as good as it is from my parents' backyard
Yeah. Of course
tree,
not.
but it was still great. So it's just nice to have this fresh fruit, and I'm
Yeah.
grateful
I
for
love
we.
fresh
All right, so that was the decision making and regret episode. Thanks for joining us, and thanks to Alex at Paceyworks Studio for editing this podcast. Please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and tell a friend about it.
and tag us on social media using the hashtag BookFriendsForever or send us a message via Instagram at BookFriendsForever_podcast or via our website, BookFriendsForever.com. And please join our Patreon. Someday we'll do something with it. Maybe I should do something with the washi tape or something.
Oh
Or something
yeah,
like
that would
if
be
you
great.
become a like I don't know. With first I have to make the products and then we'll see. Or like
Yes.
I can give like a 20%, 25% discount or something like that. Maybe that's kind of good. I don't know. Maybe that seems weird. Anyway, if anybody has any ideas, let me know.
I think 25% off anything is welcome.
Yeah. So maybe I can
your
give like
store.
all patrons like a discount to my store. You can get like dish towels, well, we'll work on it. I'll
You can
think
get
about it.
prints, you can get books.
Yes.
It's a good holiday.
Yes. Well,
We should
then-
do. Oh yeah, you won't have
until
these
New-
available
well,
yet.
it'll be good for Lunar New Year. If I'm
And then for the future.
yes.
Okay, I'm Alvina Ling. You can find me at Planet Alvina on TikTok and at Alvina Ling on Instagram, Blue Sky, and Threads.
And I'm Grace Lin. You can find me at Pacey Lin on Instagram and Threads and author Grace Lin on Facebook and Blue Sky.
Have a great week.
And don't forget to read. Bye.